the coded location we will not name, but in front of a live audience of the cohort 2 of Edtech Fellows, this is Edtech Monday. Thank you very much. My name is Bernard Koku Avlet. Edtech Monday is a platform for Edtech entrepreneurs, education stakeholders, and government reps to deliberate on Edtech. And today, we're speaking before a very exciting mixed multitude of people who are trying to make learning better using technology. Thank you so much for joining us today. So today we'll be delving into the very important discussion on building Ghana's digital education infrastructure from policy to practice. And I'm very happy to say I have a nice mix of minds as resource persons. Starting off from the extreme left of the stage, I have a techpreneur with a very nicely named company, Ni Kasemo Technologies. Put your hands together for Bernard Lomo. Thank you, Bernard, for joining us. It's good to have you. We're also very privileged to have a strategic education consultant, a proud product of Achimota School. She's consulted for many education institutions on the continent, Beatrice Owusu-Boateng. Thank you, Beatrice. And we're very, very happy to have celebrated writer, author, I call her also a teacher in the Edtech space, Chloe Willards. And last but not least, we have the Deputy Executive Director of SENDLOS, which is the Center for National Distance Learning. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Larry Agbado. So usually we ask our listeners to send comments via SMS and also by WhatsApp, but because today is a special show in front of a live audience, we'll take our questions from our live audience. You can still send us your thoughts nonetheless. Just look for hashtag Edtech Monday on social media and we'll add them to the conversations being had. I'd like to start by getting to know my panel better, and so I'll go in the opposite direction. I'll start with Larry. Tell me a bit about SENDLOS and who you are and what you do in just a minute and a half. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Greetings to your listeners. So SENDLOS, as you rightly said, is a Center for National Distance Learning and then Open Schooling. It's an agency under the Ministry of Education that is responsible for promoting and then integrating information communication technology and digital innovation into our education ecosystem. So at SENDLOS, we do a lot when it comes to IT and digital innovation, and we are glad to be here today.
Wow.
And we look forward to supporting the Edtech Fellows with all that they are about to do for our education system.
I thought you'd be happy to hear that. Because one of the questions we'll be asking is how organizations like SENDLOS can partner with smart people like these to deliver great solutions. Chloe, you are the author, trainer, and tech speaker. Tell us a bit more about what you talk and write about.
Well, hello everyone. I'm Chloe from Belgium and happy to be here. As a speaker, I speak about the impact of digital technologies on our daily lives. So as you can imagine, the past 2 years, I talk a lot about the impact of AI. I'm an author of a number of management books and handbooks. My last 3 books are all about digital marketing, content marketing, video marketing. And the brilliant business model behind that is that I'm also a teacher at a couple of colleges, and I force my students to use my handbooks. So that's how you get filthy rich. Now, what I really think is super important is always the impact of technology and having the end user in mind. So having 20-somethings in my classroom to me is sometimes eye-opening. So that's what keeps me going.
Wonderful. Thank you, Chloe. Good to have you. Beatrice, please tell us more about what you do as a consultant.
Thank you so much, Bernard, for having me on your show. So my education is in technology, and I've been teaching for years. So I have the privilege of always combining education integrating technology in everything I do, and also sharing with other teachers around me. And so as a consultant, I help teachers in both private and public schools to integrate teaching in their teaching and learning, to integrate technology into their teaching and learning.
Amazing. And you seem to be having fun doing that.
Absolutely.
We'll hear more about that.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. And then last but not least, let's hear from my namesake, Mr. Bernard Ajay Lomo.
Thank you very much, Bernard. I'm Bernard Lomo, CEO and CTO for Nicasm Technologies. And what we do is that we build hardware, software, and then learning content for basic schools. For us, we began Edtech like a very long time ago, and then fast forward, we are into basic schools. We are helping them to integrate Edtech with content, software, and the hardware. So that's a little about me.
Wonderful. Let's announce that for the panel. So I have many questions, but very limited time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do like 4 rounds of questions. And I call the first round the foundational round, where I'm just trying to establish basic things about EdTech in Ghana, policy, infrastructure, so we're on the same page, so we can do this journey together. So I'm going to ask Mr. Agbado to talk to me a bit about the state of play when it comes to Ghana's ICT education policy, right? Where are we? Do you have a policy? Is it functional? Are we happy with it? Should we change it? You know, lay that foundation for me, Mr. Agbado, which, by the way, in Ewe could mean apata. So Christmas hat. So if you forget his name, Larry, just think of your Christmas apata. Mr. Agbado, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Bernard. All right, this is actually a good time to talk about Ghana's ICT policy in education. Because as we speak, just a few days ago, we had the ministry lead a validation session on the EdTech strategy. And I think there's work currently ongoing also on the ICT in education policy. They are seeing how best they can finalize the 2 documents for its full rollout and then implementation. But while we wait on the launch and then full implementation of it, in the past years, a lot has been happening with regarding this document, especially with the ICT in education policy you mentioned. And Senlos has been at the forefront leading this project that has been happening regarding our ICT in education policy. We're also doing a lot when it comes to supporting learners in rural areas, where we have rolled out a project called iBox. Now, so with this iBox, learners across the country, and I think we currently have about 239 that have been deployed across the country, where it's also stocked with learning materials. So learners across the country, and I must say, just a few days ago, I was in Tamale at St. Charles Senior High School. Okay. And then I heard a teacher who had been transferred from Sanduma Senior High School giving a story about how at Sanduma Senior High School, the iBox was helping his learners to actually catch up so fast. You know, anything that has to do with education technology serves as a motivation to learners. We visited some schools recently around Kobenya, and teachers were saying that, look, when they come to school in the morning and then they start teaching, you see learners being dubbed, but immediately you ask them to get to the ICT lab. The joy, the enthusiasm with which they run to the lab to go and learn using our learning passports, which is also another innovation that we've rolled out in the past few years. So there's quite a lot happening in the space. But as I said, with the launching and then full implementation of the ICT in education policy and then the EdTech strategy, we are good to go in doing a lot for our sector.
So the foundation is great. And on the policy side, and Sendlos is also penetrating.
Exactly.
So we're happy. Are you guys happy with him? Okay, wonderful. Now, still on foundations, Chloe, I'm a parent, and sometimes I'm not sure I am digitally literate enough to cope with the demands of my kids when it has to do with homework. So how important is digital literacy for A, teachers, for B, students, and C, for parents? And talk a bit about how to build an ecosystem around that, Chloe.
Yeah, imagine also being a teacher. Sometimes I feel more like ICT desk support for my students because there's so many systems that are not integrated and built one top of the other, and then there's a special Microsoft login, oh my God, or the Wi-Fi is flaky. So sometimes the infrastructure is as simple as getting online or not. And how I try to make sense of it when dreaming up the ideal Edtech solution is to begin with the end in mind. Who is the end user? That's a child, that's a student. And we always develop things imagining our end user being on a laptop, but maybe a laptop is not the best way to learn. It's clunky, it's very, very fragile, it needs a cable, it needs stable Wi-Fi. What I see, any child between 9 and 29, I'm 55, so to me 29 is a child. They're practically glued to their smartphone. Yeah. And that smartphone is not the latest iPhone. Usually it's like a hand-me-down smartphone with a cracked screen, yep. And they have limited airtime. And your competitor for your educational platform and your educational content is TikTok. Right? So try to be more entertaining than TikTok. That's hard. So I kind of like, there are solutions to that. If you look at Duolingo, how playful they try to learn you a new language and how the little owl is guilt-tripping you when it looks all sad if you haven't practiced your French for a couple of days. Maybe that's how we should look at infrastructure. What does it look like in the hands of a student? And all the other things will come from that.
I think that's really good. So you're saying, let's start from the end. Think about the end before you. It's like, don't be a hammer looking for a nail, right? I'll come back to that. I like that point. I'm still laying foundations. Beatrice, you consult. You work with many schools. So what are some of the challenges preventing a full transition from policy to practice in our digital education journey? Basically, I'm trying to say, look at some of the challenges that exist so far and how we're supposed to solve them, still from a foundational level. Beatrice.
So I would first, look at even just the basics. Right. So come back to the word foundation. So I'm looking at basic traditional infrastructure. I want us to consider that rural-urban digital divide. There's still a gap there. And basic infrastructure like classrooms, reliable electricity. So if we are looking at challenges for transition, these are basic things. We're still looking at cost, which is quite high for data. And I'm happy to hear that they are looking at zero, helping stakeholders with cost, because cost is major. Infrastructure, computers, internet, and then you come to even teacher training. And I'm very big on integration. So it's not just about training the teachers to use the tools, but also helping them to integrate. And that has to be continuous. Because if you do maybe a crash program for a week, these teachers need continuous support. They need continuous, even within the schools and the community. If we could have teachers educators sharing best practices, if we could have digital champions or technology leaders in schools who will lead this charge and have, regular sessions with teachers instead of just that once, because change is hard. And most people just go for these trainings and then relapse and go back to their, and then Larry, is that the name? Larry. Yes, he was talking about going to the IT lab with excitement. Yeah. But integration is about having the tools in the classroom. Because going to the labs, so these are some of the challenges. It's timetabled, and sometimes it's not one-to-one when they are large schools. So these children have to share. and they actually run, to be able to get front seat.
Yeah.
So stuff like that. And even in some places, the computers are not there. There's no structure even to put these computers. So for me, it's just the fundamentals, looking at those basics.
So far, making progress. Now, you are a techpreneur, right? You create solutions for people. Do you have any role in what we've discussed so far?
Yes, please. I think we have a major role because I would like to break this down into 4 points. I think the first point talks about tooling and then infrastructure. Then secondly, our second role is to create awareness. Edtech is fairly new, and then a lot of schools, teachers, and parents, and even learners don't know the benefits of Edtech and why they need it. So we have to create awareness on that too. For us, we do it through training programs and also conferences for school owners and the teachers. Then again, we also have to be part of policy making. Okay. Sitting here, I am representing the teachers, learners, and schools that use my software. Right. And so over here, I have to make sure that decisions made here basically favor them, so they continue to use it. Then finally, the last thing which is very important is basically building sustainable business models around the policies. So GS has MS, and then MS requires that schools submit some data to them every year. I work with schools, and then something that can be done in one day, it takes them almost like the whole academic year, and sometimes they have to threaten them that if they don't do it, they wouldn't allow their awards to electrify the BC before they do it. But if GS requires, let's say, Edtech firm to build systems that can easily integrate with theirs, they can get the data in real time without necessarily having to go through the schools. Then secondly, also lesson notes. I think that teachers hate writing lesson notes, but then right now, GES allows them to submit lesson notes digitally, but there are no platforms that allow them to do that. We believe that teachers will pay, let's say, 10 cedis like a term to generate lesson notes, and so as like we can combine things like AI, and then NACA's curriculum to help them to generate lesson notes that aligns with the curriculum, so that they can focus more time on teaching, because teachers spend about 8 hours to prepare lesson notes, especially if they are subject teachers. Then when it comes to tooling and then infrastructure, so another story. So before we began EdLedge, we had an app called a Learn app. Basically, we wanted to gamify learning. And so learners that use the app, we give them rewards, they get points. It was very fun. But the thing is that if you go to your school and then you want them to use the software, the app, they're like, I have challenges collecting school fees. I am not able to generate reports on time. Like bills are not ready. So this isn't like my solution. So we went back, developed EdLedge, and then over the past 14 months, we have about 40 to 45 schools on our platform, and with about 20,000 learners. That means that we have addressed the problem, and then they are really enjoying it. Then the last thing comes to devices. I think that devices are very expensive. So what we are doing is that we have two programs. We have a one-child program, but it's in two phases. You either pay to own or pay to use. And so if you pay to use, you can use it in your classroom without any by paying a small fee, and then paying to own, you pay to own a device. Meantime, I think that not now, but then in time, because right now devices are very cheap. Right now, you can get a good tablet at 1,000 cedis. 4 years ago, even if you have 4,000 cedis, you may not be able to purchase one. So we think that in time, this will be solved. So So I endeavor all of us to look at from the 4 points: tools and infrastructure, creating awareness, policy formulation, also building business models that
are sustainable
with the policies as well.
No, I think this is fantastic. I like it. Thank you. So this is Edtech Monday. Today we're coming to you, I won't say live, but we're in front of an audience of the second cohort of Edtech fellows, ready to take on the world. They look very happy, but they're not applauding. And Edtech Mondays are on CTFM on the last Mondays of each month, and it's brought to you by the MasterCard Foundation, with support from the Meltwater Entrepreneurial School of Technology. And we've just done one round of questions. If you just tuned in, I have 4 very interesting guests. I call them BBC, which is Bernard, Beatrice, Chloe, and Larry. And we're discussing how to build Ghana's digital infrastructure from policy to practice. So we're going into implementation stuff. We have great policies. The biggest gap is not the gap between heaven and earth. It's the gap between knowledge and action. That's what somebody said. Everybody knows, but few people do. So we have the policy. How do we implement? Now, Chloe, I'm coming back to you now. You're from Belgium, and now you're in Ghana. Do you live here, or you just visit here?
I'm just visiting, but I decided to stay a couple of weeks longer to explore the country.
Okay. Give me an example of a model, a successful model, a framework that you think, based on the little knowledge you have about Ghana, that Ghana can use to guide the implementation of our EdTech policy in a way that will make it impactful.
A fellow tech speaker who is originally from Hong Kong invented the C2C model, and I kind of liked it from his point of view. He was talking about copy to China. So it doesn't matter what technology is being invented anywhere. Eventually, it will be copied by the Chinese, then mass-produced, and then sold cheaper to us, right? I think we should copy that. Okay. Sometimes it's better to look at something that works elsewhere, or models that were created by UNICEF or by educational institutions anywhere else in the world. And then when you see it works there, why reinvent the wheel, right? So what I like to do, for example, if you're looking at educational content, which I produce a lot of, one of the handbooks that I'm going to use in my class next year is, I'm not going to mention the publisher, because they force me to go online to read the book in the digital version. What if I'm not online? They say, okay, but we have a specific app for that. No, I do not want to. Why? Because I made a joke about selling handbooks, right? I know full well that there are PDFs circulating between the students, and I'm completely fine with that. So why reinvent the wheel? Maybe a YouTube video is fine. Maybe a PDF is fine. If that makes it easier to distribute learning materials, why not use these already existing platforms? And I'm on the teacher side now, right? Why reinvent software to teach? Just keep it simple.
So you're saying, make sure the content is quality, but make it accessible, available, and affordable. Don't try to create some, in Ghana, hundios system and say they should come and use. And
yeah.
So basically, depend on what they're already using. But we talk about a sustainable business model, because I'm sure they are thinking, how do I make money? All right. So in the examples you give, how do you solve the money question?
Well, it's if you look at Khan Academy, that's actually a good example. A lot of their learning material is out while in the open, right? It's on YouTube. A lot of it is on YouTube. But when you look at the foundation behind it, they actually have several layers of services, and the school can become a Khan Academy. The certified, for example, they charge for teacher trainings, and they come up with an AI companion. Have you heard of it? It's called Kanmigo. They launched it about a year ago, I think. An AI companion for the child. that helps the child by the AI gives like personalized exercises for that child so that it can catch up with class before the next class is there. And then the parents get a progress report. So what Khan Academy does, they charge the parents $4 to $5 a month
All right.
per child. And as a parent, I would be willing to pay that to know whether my child is doing their homework or not.
All right.
Yeah, I don't want to do the homework with the child. I don't have time for that.
I hear you. So you're saying make the basics
Yeah.
free, make it accessible, and then
Yes.
let value-added services take care of the money.
Exactly.
What you shouldn't forget, though, is that a lot of you're giving two good examples, Duolingo and Khan Academy. The thing is, here, a lot of the people doing this creation are smaller companies, techpreneur types. So the business and the money and the tools behind these things you just mentioned may be bigger to allow for the type of model you describe. But here, I mean, so like Bernard here, I don't know how much, which bank has even given a loan, right? So he probably needs, he would need some guaranteed sale or money to let him move to the next level. So I'm just trying to say that I don't disagree with your idea of what works, but I'm asking a question of context because a lot of our creative people are not big, and scaling is critical for them, right? They need to prove the concept at a little stage, get a few people to agree to pay for it, and then as they get bigger, they open up. Am I correct? Exactly. So anybody on the panel can comment on this. So whilst we agree that the model should be availability, accessibility, affordability in a sustainable way, how does that really work in our context of most of our creatives being startup types? I think that's the question for this round. And I don't have the answer. If you guys don't, I'll probably come to these guys. So anybody wants to comment on that?
So I think that content creation is very, very expensive. I think you can ask Metascuse, you can ask Uber. It costs so much to create content. Then again, there's also like not one place that when you go, you can get all content for, let's say, that meets the curriculum, especially for basic schools. I'm talking for KG 1 to basic 9. I think for high school they have something like that, but for basic schools you don't like that. Then again, there is content. It doesn't meet our curriculum demands. So we arrange at, I think, in strands, sub-strands, content standards, lessons, and then indicators, and then exemplars. So the learning content has to be structured in that way. Let's say Khan Academy like will create mass, but then it wouldn't follow in how we deliver our content. So we need like such solutions. But we all can create the content, because if you want to create content for like mass, I think we have about 27 subjects from KG 1 to basic 9. If you are creating that one, you need about $1 billion to do that. But what we are doing is that we are creating something called the Content API. The Content API will give all Edtech companies access to content, things like explainer videos, quizzes, flashcards, lesson notes, and then I'll say it's free. If you overuse them, maybe you have to pay some. But then, but it's basically free. Then again, it is also arranged like how we teach them to the substance. So in that way, they only have to spend a lot of money to let's create content. They have to just build a business. Once they have the demand for it, our content can power them, and then later on they'll pay us some money for usage. So that's how we are addressing that challenge.
Thanks for sharing. Before I come to Larry, Beatrice, I just want to take your thoughts, because I know you also have worked around. What are your thoughts around how do we create, or what can we learn from global best practice to make it applicable to our context as I've just described?
Okay, I'm thinking about leveraging on what works or what is working, because that could be the first point. And then yesterday we had a very interesting submission here where somebody was talking about alumni being willing to help, to support. And I think partnerships are very critical in this kind of thing. And communities, because we are a people who are very communal.
Yep.
And so particularly in the rural communities, how can we use our communities and engage our communities? I remember when we were younger, by the fireside, just maybe a projector and one laptop in this community and projecting things for these children, be it in the form of games or cartoons or whatever for the children. So I just feel that we should use our strengths, which is our community.
Let me jump on the partnership word and ask you the last question for this round. Larry, you are government for today. Is there space for partnerships with development partners and also private sector?
I heard Bernard talk about content development. It may interest you to know that we have the platform to help most of these startups to develop content. But these startups are not aware of that.
Okay.
So the platform is there. They should just approach Sendlos.
No, just mention it here. Because there are some listening too.
Good. So we are urging the startups to approach Sendlos. We have Channel MOE.
Channel MOE.
That can even help these startups to put across what they are doing, which will help them scale up.
So it's like a TV station.
A TV station.
Okay.
And during the COVID, such platforms helped a lot in doing distance learning.
Correct.
Teaching learners at home. I think yesterday I was having a conversation with Chloe, and then she was telling me how in a particular country during the COVID era, they had to push teaching and learning on TV. So kids were home just following lessons online.
Yeah.
So we urge the startups to, one other interesting thing is that you have a lot of startups doing very good projects with nice ideas. But sometimes they need that central body to coordinate them.
Correct.
To coordinate them. This person is doing this person is doing this. And sometimes you see that they are almost having a similar idea. So if they're able to come together, sit with Sendlos, we'll be able to coordinate them properly and then give them that platform where they can scale up. Now, coming to the issue of partnerships.
Yes.
In fact, partnership is very essential when it comes to this whole Edtech ecosystem. And I must admit that we've actually enjoyed a lot of partnerships that is helping improve our learning outcomes. For instance, the MasterCard Foundation, through TTEL, has been able to support Ghana Education Service, the Ghana Society for Education Technology, GSET, the National Teaching Council, and then Sendlos to undertake digital literacy training for teachers.
Wonderful.
When COVID came in, one of the gaps we had was that most of our teachers didn't have that knowledge of undertaking online teaching. So MasterCard Foundation came in to support all these agencies to roll out training for our teachers. And I think so far we've been able to train about 35,000 teachers, which is a very huge one. The numbers keep going up, and I'm sure by the close of this month to next month, we'll have more. Aside that, we've also had UNESCO also supporting us with projects like Learning Passports. UNICEF also is there with Minecraft, the iBoxes, and the rest. So we are actually enjoying a lot of partnerships when it comes to helping with education technology in our sector. But that doesn't mean that we don't want more. We certainly want more, even from other government agencies and then partners. For instance, GIFEC, the Ghana Investment Fund, has also been helping Sendlos with some computers, and then these iBoxes also, they came in to support us with a lot of logistics in developing the iBoxes. So we have more, but we are still asking for more as Oliver Twist to help scale up our Edtech space.
Wonderful. Let's ask for Larry. So can we say that Sendlos is that body within government that connects the efforts of our edtechpreneurs? Are you that group? Are you that body?
The mandated body.
You are the mandated body.
Yeah.
So do you guys agree? You know that this is the guy? All right, but how many of you are going to at least try the MOE TV to see what's there? At least you're going to give it a try. Because I think it's important that beyond simply saying we are there, there should be an organic platform where they can actually meet you. Because I've summarized 4 power words from the panel so far. Those are my 4. I don't know about you. There are 4 panelists. The first power word I've heard today, of course, is infrastructure, right? And I think Beatrice spoke about that. Rural, urban divide, phones, and everything else. Chloe also made a point about that. So that's my first power word, infrastructure. Second word is also an I, integration. Integration is critical. So we don't want to work in silos, you know. So if you cannot coordinate, you integrate. If you cannot integrate, you coordinate. So integration is very crucial. Third big word I've heard is partnerships, which you've said. He also made that point. The last one is not a word, it's more like a sentence, sustainable business model. Because at the end of the day, it has to pay the bills in a way, right? So the government does not compete with the private people too much. You create a platform, you regulate, but you allow these creative guys, because in most sectors, the innovation is supported by government, but they are the guys who sort of drive it with their ideas. Make sense? All right. Now, I want to sort of take a few comments, if I may, before I come to my last round, because I feel like we're going too much. So even though I have questions for you, I think it would be important for the audience to know the kinds of people we have in this room, what they do, why we decided to even do this before them, and then if they have a contribution or a question, I'll be very, very happy to take it. So can you get a mic? I'll start with the gentleman at the back. So you tell us your name and your organization, and then you just, as the British say, just crack on with your question or your comment. Don't forget, this is a recorded edition of Edtech Monday coming to you in front of the second cohort of Edtech Fellows at a hidden location. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you very much for the insightful conversation. My name is Michael Opari from Jesse AI. We are empowering teachers and students to improve their learning outcomes. Mine is a comment. I've heard a lot about we approaching the bodies. I just want to ask, is there ever a situation where the bodies will also seek us out? Because we are in this room because the platform has been created. But when we all go back to our offices, does Sendlos have actively pursue maybe EdTech entrepreneurs or find people who are doing things like and say, we think you are doing something great, come let us empower you. Not always we approaching. It becomes a bit tiring if that is the situation. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. That's a very nice observation there. A few days ago, we were privileged to have in our office staff from MEST Africa, and I think that was one of the suggestions that they came up with, that going forward, they will bring the startups to Sendlos for us to sit with them to see how best we can map out strategies to help them going forward. So that's a very good observation, and you start seeing that very soon, please.
Thank you. Thank you very much. My name is Prince Boateng Asari from STEM Aid Africa. We are focused on making STEM learning toolkit that is easily accessible, affordable to every young African child on the continent. That's a great conversation so far. I have a question and a submission. So the first question, the Sendlos guy was talking about, Larry was talking about access, and also we should always reach out. I want to find out, he mentioned about some strategies that is being made together with the other funding agencies to ensure that we have a properly way of coordinating and integrating our solution into your systems. We would need to get more follow-ups on those things and how we, in the startup ecosystem, can be engaged to be able to ensure that our solutions are also integration and also helping us in terms of accreditation and certification with the agencies that are mandated to certify the content that we are making for the educational systems in the country. So
that's the statement.
Yes.
So let's go to the question.
All right. So my question also goes indirectly to the way we are also looking at the sustainability models of these EdTech solutions. Majority of the time, when you look at the EdTech systems, most people would look at it in a way that it's more like a social enterprise or an NGO trying to provide services in the educational setting. So every concern or any activity you are receiving, people perceive that this is how it's supposed to be. You mentioned about sustainable models. How do we create a sustainable model that can also help the startups to scale, even though you are trying to reach the underserved. You need enough capital to be able to reach those people. Three things that are happening: limited access to internet connectivity, which you mentioned, inadequate infrastructure, and a lack of qualified teacher education to properly deliver STEM in the classroom. How do we make sure we are addressing this and still becoming sustainable and reach all other audiences in the country?
Wonderful question. I'll let the panel take note of that. I'll take a couple more to optimize the time. Yes.
All right, thank you. I'm Belinda Bukari from Special Education Division, and my question goes to Larry Sendlos. Yes, you mentioned the digitization of content. And may I ask how teachers with special needs have been taken care of? How they will be able to access this content online? And again, on digital literacy training, teachers who are handling learners with special needs, both at the basic and integrated senior high school, need specialized training. So may I ask when it will get to our attention?
So to make it nice, I'll let Larry answer that directly. Your question, I think I would allow some other panel members to address sustainable model, then I'll take more. So Larry, please address Belinda's question.
Thank you very much. I will take this as an interagency question. So
she's from
GS.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
One government to another.
So yes, with that also, I think we've enjoyed good partnership once again from MasterCard Foundation. I personally witnessed this a few months ago when MasterCard Foundation, through TETL, identified teachers in senior high schools who are having problem with sight. Yes, visually impaired teachers. And they provided laptops for all teachers in senior high schools in Ghana. And those laptops, in fact, I was part of that training. They took them to a Ejisu, Nat village at Abankro, and had a 1-week training for them where they downloaded materials, these audiovisual materials on the laptop for them. So in fact, your department is fully catered for, fully and well catered for. Probably there's more to be done for them, but I think in the meantime, there's something being done. Thank
Wonderful.
you.
There was a question from Prince about people perceiving them as NGOs, even though they are social enterprises who solve a social problem but make money. It's like there are too many gaps that make it impossible for them to do it in a sustainable way. So he wants help. I don't know whether Beatrix, Chloe, or Bernard would attempt. Bernard, you are making money, so you can help. Even the shoe you are wearing clearly tells me that you are not broke. So help your friend, Prince, with some views, ideas.
Thank you very much. Prince is my brother, so we need government to mandate certain things. So, for example, let's say Prince that's, let's say, STEM and robotics. So government has to say that, okay, we need all schools to have a compulsory, let's say robotics lesson on their curriculum. And so this gives Prince Business access to all schools that have that. And over the past few years, they have built a very, very good business. They have a very, very nice robotics kit. So schools will now approach Prince because he now has a solution.
So your point is that government policy is the starting point.
Yes.
For that.
Yes.
That's your point. No problem. Anybody else want to add something on the panel on that point? Or I take the next round of questions. All right, wonderful. Let me move to the next round of questions. Yes. So this is mention your name.
My name is Precious, and I'm with Maximianza Foundation. So initially, Bernard spoke about the fact that content is very expensive, and most of us here, we deal with content. And then you assured us that MOU TV is there. My question is, how easily accessible is it to we, the Edtech organizations? And is it free?
So that's a good question. We'll take another one. So Precious, still on that line. Okay, yes, sir.
Just a follow-up. Yes, so my name is Thomas Iganekuban. I'm from Tech Aid. We work on Asanka. Now, just a follow-up to what Precious said. You have access to a lot of content, not just for the MOU TV. The Ghana Learning videos sit in your domain. I have a platform that can easily make these videos accessible to students in the hinterlands,
Offline.
offline. What is the procedure to get access to those content for free and share with those in the hinterlands to enjoy this rich content?
This is like NSMQ question. the precision of the question, you can't escape. The Lord be with you. I think we should just answer those two so we don't lose our train of thought. But I don't want this to be a press conference for him, but it's also good that you are interacting, so let's go.
Yeah, so Tech Aid, or Sanka, right? I think they've actually been doing a lot with SendLoss. Just to combine the two questions, our doors are always open. You can visit SendLoss office at any time, and we are ready to help. In fact, a few weeks ago, Channel MOE announced on the website of SendLoss, asking for anyone with a proposal on content to submit it. We'll review it. If it meets our benchmark, why not? We have recording studios that can give you the platform to develop a lot of content. And we are a government agency. We are there for the people, for you. So please come.
But he was asking for the procedure. You're saying they should come.
Yeah.
You see, the thing about saying people should come is that it creates this dark thing of who do I meet there. If you said, this is the procedure, www.sendloss.com, submission of proposal, 3 steps,
so
pay 2 Ghana cedis. Then you get me? So that everybody knows that. But if you say come, I can say the day we're not there. All right? And that's number 2. Yeah. Some of what you're doing is a bit like what Chloe said. It's almost like we are SendLoss, we have MOE TV. Most people may not be watching MOE TV. Most people may not be on the... So are you taking advantage of where people are? All right? Because most of these guys may be watching a different station, or they may be on a different social media portal. So I feel like you need to also find the way of reaching. I think the first question I asked Michael, right? It seems to me you're saying, you just look for us. But you also need to go onto platforms where they already are. All right? Yeah. Because MOE TV may not be that popular, even though it has great content. Because it's not everybody who wants to wake up and watch MOE TV. You know, they want to watch Brain Dead telenovela just to stress. I mean, why would I go home after work and put on MOE TV? I mean, why? Not because it's a bad thing. My point is, you may also need to be a bit more flexible. So I don't know if you can just comment.
So we have an active website, www.sendloss.gov.gh. So when you go there, you have information on how you can get access to most of our platforms and how you can get access to the opportunities you are looking out for. Another way is what we are doing now, having the opportunity to meet the startups here. And as I said earlier also, with the assistance of MEST, very soon we'll have a direct engagement with most of these startups, and even invite some who are not even here to see how best we can engage them and then provide them with the needed support that they need.
All right. Let me take the last round of questions, and then we'll try and wrap this up. This is still Edtech Monday, coming to you from a coded location. Yes, Director, I'll come to you, sir.
Dr. Isaac Munawaro, Acting Deputy Director General in charge of Quality and Access. Okay. The current Minister of Education is encouraging the agencies to collaborate. And so when you begin to do the discussions, you can see if you operate in a silos, you can't do anything, even as agencies. And so I agree that we should be able to reach out. Every time that you come with an important innovation, we can ask, what do you expect us to do? And luckily, it was in the pyramid here. Because whatever you do, we can't sit and let you go. Sometimes the delay are to secure the system.
Okay.
It is not intended to disregard or undermine what you are doing. Bernard, you can imagine, even with the scrutiny, when it comes to recruitment, people can be doing it outside the norm.
Yeah.
When somebody says, I have this idea, I want to go and give it to your children, you cannot just be happy and allow the person to go. By the time you say Jack, there will be a lot of poisoning. And so sometimes the streamlining doesn't mean that you
for
are-
quality
you're-
control.
Yes, it's quality control.
Correct.
And so when we want to bring you together, it is very likely that we also need support. So when you hear TTEL, when you hear MasterCard Foundation, when you hear other supporting agencies that stay by the ministry, it is because calling you involves so much. So there's collaboration there. So I want to plead with our startups
Yeah.
that sometimes when you think that Sendlos can call you, it comes with some
yeah.
costs, and
Yeah.
that will need support. But through collaboration, we can always come in.
Thank you,
to do.
Dr.
Thank you very
Isahaku. Thank you very much. So, coming to a quick close, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to give each panel member the chance to comment as we close. Now, Bernard, I start with you because you're answering a direct question, and then I'll come to Beatrice, then I'll come to Chloe, and I'll end with the roof, Mr. Agbado. So, Bernard, you answer his question and you give your closing comments in a minute and a half.
Okay, so for us, we have been creating content for the past 3 years, so we have a lot of content as well. And then on the question whether it's free, so we have a free model, but if you have a lot of numbers, it also means that you're also making money. So you also have to share your money with us. It's simple. Yes. So my closing remarks, I think that Edtech is here to stay, and then we have to give all our support to it. Education is what shapes societies, and then I love the fact that the MasterCard Foundation Edtech Fellowship is here to help Edtech startups to basically accelerate what we do, and also give us access to people like Sendlos, NASIA, GES, MOE, so that we can spread solutions across.
Thank you, Bernard. Let's take a comment from Beatrice.
Thank you so much. I've thoroughly enjoyed this discussion, and it's because we have so many different stakeholders in the room. So I would also continue to urge stakeholders to come together, and even in different industries, because together we can make a difference, and together we can take this digital education to another level. So thank you all.
Thank you very much, Beatrice. Chloe Willett, your closing thoughts?
Yeah, of course, I live on the dark side. I'm in marketing, and we're constantly looking for untapped markets where there's the biggest opportunity. And listening to all of these conversations, I think teacher education is, I think, where most opportunities are, even to make money, right? There's such a huge need for all types of teachers, like the ones for children with special needs and others, that I think that governments and organizations like MasterCard Foundation and even sponsors, because we're talking about adults, we don't need to be as careful as we should be with children. I think that, to me, is the biggest untapped market, and hence the biggest opportunity to make money.
Wonderful. And let's end with Larry.
Thank you very much, Bernard. So just to add to what the Deputy Director General of Ghana Education Service said, Dr. Isahaku, we'll be meeting the startups very soon. We'll do that in partnership with GES and other agencies under the ministry. So please, startups, be rest assured, we'll be engaging you shortly. To my final remarks, I think very soon the Edtech strategy and then the ICT in education policy will be finalized and then roll out with support of the Ministry of Education. Aside that, as you rightly said from the beginning, it's time we move beyond the frameworks and invest in practical and in scalable interventions in our Edtech space. Edtech education or digital education is not just an Edtech issue. For me, I feel that it's a justice issue because all learners deserve the right to learn digitally. And we must, as a country, come together, support the education sector to train our learners, irrespective of wherever they are, with the needed digital skills to meet up with the evolving trends.
Thank you very much indeed. Round of applause for the panel. So, EdTech Monday, a platform for EdTech entrepreneurs, education stakeholders, and policymakers to discuss critical issues within the sector, has come to you in front of the second cohort of the MasterCard Foundation Edtech Fellows, and we've been discussing how to build Ghana's digital infrastructure from policy to practice. So I leave you with 3 power words to build the infrastructure on. First, we need to think about integration, and I credit that word to Beatrice. We need to integrate. We also need to think of partnerships, which is very critical, as has been said. And of course, everything must be done in a sustainable way so that businesses make sense. Now, don't forget, this vision is powered by the MasterCard Foundation in partnership with MEST, which is the Meltwater Entrepreneurial School of Technology, bringing you Edtech Mondays every last Monday of the month on the City Breakfast Show with me, Bernard Koku Avele. Have a great morning. Thank you.